Hello YouTube. It's been a few days since I posted a video, so there's a reason for that. I'll get to that in a minute. Look at my nice orange shirt. This is for what's today, September 30th in Canada, is called Truth and Reconciliation Day, and it's related to trying to reconcile and make up for past wrongs for our Aboriginal people. And so they commemorate it. It's a fairly new national day of recognition, but it's every September 30th, Truth and Reconciliation Day. If you want to look it up, if you're interested in that. So I've tried to be respectful about that. Anyways, I am just back from 3 nights. So I think it was 3.5 days in Montreal, in Quebec. I posted a couple of shorts about that, and it's the first time I've been away from home overnight in at least, 3 years, I would say, maybe more. Heather and I always travel together for the most part, and I wasn't sure how I would feel about it. You know, I thought, well, would it be a big relief? Would I heave a sigh of relief? Would it be a lot of fun and laughter? And you know, while I loved seeing my brother Gerald and his wife Sarah and their daughter Emily and her kids, and especially my son Peter. Oh geez, my son, I mean our son. Here I go again. I saw Peter, and you know, there's nothing like a big hug, a bear hug, versus chatting over text or FaceTime. So it was a joy to see them, there's no question about it. But there were some differences. You know, I said I wondered if it would be joyful and happy. Well, in the past, if I traveled on my own, whether it was for business or vacation, I'd be constantly sending messages and updates back to my buddy, my life partner, Heather, you know. And we've been traveling together to Montreal for 35 or 40 years. I mean, a long time, every year, probably once a year, every year. So we have a lot of inside communication, like just things that are so subtle, and inside jokes, and boy, oh boy, did I ever miss that. It was remarkable. That's the one thing that stood out for me. So, you know, it's part of the letting go process. It wasn't as happy a trip as I thought it would be, but I think it was good. And part of the adjusting the sails and adjusting the rudder process of spousal dementia and letting go and adapting and adjusting. So, you know, I have to look at life as the before times, BT, before the monster came to live with us. So there's the before times, and I have to let go of that. And I think everybody here who is a dementia caregiver understands that that is important, and it's part of the ongoing grieving process, which truthfully some days feels like a daily punch in the gut, like a gut punch every day of the year. So, you know, there's that. So my approach is to try to find some simple joy and happiness in the day. It's not always possible, but look for something. Try to be very much in the moment, and that was my meow meow approach with Heather. When things are going bad, I look at her, look in her eyes, and go meow meow, and she'll give a little meow meow once in a while. That kind of resets things. So, but so you know, Heather's no longer accessible in that way, and that's a big loss. That's like losing an arm, quite something. So. But that's the way it goes. Enough of that. I think the vacation was good. I came back and everything was, of course, perfectly handled. You know, Hetty was here the whole time. Hetty took over from Risa on Thursday afternoon, and then Hetty stayed overnight. And she, you know, she was well briefed on what to expect, and she doesn't bat an eye at anything. And she just jumped in there, and you know, they had some laughs. And when things went a little wrong, Hetty didn't let it upset her. I think she's adopted the meow meow philosophy. So, the meow meow philosophy. So, that's great. But I'm happy to be home. This is I guess I'm happiest at home, even especially if I can have time off now with my caregiver. I'm happiest being close to Heather, being in a familiar environment, and relieved of worry or concern, because I always feel like I should be on duty. So this is the best place to be for me, even though a trip is good once in a while, but I like it here. And I had this theory. I was going to make a video a while ago called the Caregiver Equilibrium Recovery Ratio, so the CERR. Kier? I don't know. Caregiver Equilibrium Recovery Ratio. And that was based on my personal, highly scientific and researched theory or observation that Siri's listening to me, that for every day that I was on caregiver duty full-time for the whole day, and I had a relief come in, it would take me an hour for every day, minimum of an hour, to just stop spinning, to regain my equilibrium, to feel like I had my feet back on the ground. So if I was with Heather for a full day taking care of business, and then somebody came to relieve me for an hour, didn't accomplish anything. An hour did nothing. It didn't even register. In hour 2, I would start to come down and be able to take in the world around me. So, you can imagine it takes hour 3 to feel like you can accomplish anything or get any kind of actual recuperation. So that's my caregiver equilibrium recovery ratio, 1-to-1, or let's say 24-to-1. 24 hours of a day of caregiving takes 1 hour of recovery. The CERR is 24. I should make a t-shirt for that. 24:1. Yeah, that could go along with YANA. the YANA series of t-shirts. 24-to-1 and YANA. What do you think of that? Is that a good idea? I thought of making YANA t-shirts, but I really don't have time for it. But I might put them on Shirt Spring or whatever it is, Teespring, and offer them for sale if anybody wants them. I don't know what I wouldn't be making money on it, just for fun. So, some other updates is that I was asked to speak at the annual Alzheimer Society conference this year in Halifax. And I initially said, no, not doing that. I'm too anxious about it. But then after a while, I thought, yeah, I can do that. So they asked for the little write-up on what my topic would be, and I said let's call it Reaching Meow Meow. A sort of outside the box type of topic, something you won't see on the pamphlets. Reaching Meow Meow. And I felt a little conscious of the fact that here I am, Johnny come lately, 3 years as a spousal dementia caregiver, and I'll be speaking to a room of people. Some of them will have 25 or more years of dementia knowledge, study, and experience under their belts. So very conscious of that, but then it was pointed out to me that having a spousal experience and real world experience, and sort of an experience not from the textbooks and not from the pamphlets, but experience and approaches that I've come up with, cooked up on my own, would be interesting to people. And the fact that I can bring a bit of humor to my talks, as you can imagine, with the Meow Meow being the title, that will be valuable. And it won't be a long talk, and I can do that stuff. So that's the Alzheimer's conference. I'm not sure when it is. I think it's in October, next month. So besides that, let me flip this camera around. You can see what's taking my time here. I've been ordering stuff for my van. So I've got a garage full of solar panels and batteries and aluminum roof rack rails and new windows and insulating materials. And I've ordered a water tank and a gray water tank and wiring, and it's a good activity for me. This is going to keep me busy working on the van. Like this morning, it is, well, right now it's 12:15 on Monday morning. Northwood is closed, and Riza is in the house with Heather. They're having lunch and whatever. And I'm free. I went shopping for some fasteners this morning, and now I'm going to do some more work inside on the floor. So that is pretty amazing to have that, and it helps me stay balanced. Speaking of equilibrium, it helps my mind stay balanced. And I tend, when I'm working on the van, I just unplug. I'll listen to music or the news on the radio. That's it. No social media, almost no photography. I'll take a picture here and there. So now there's another thought that bubbles up all the time. And I talked to Trey from Trey and Teresa. I talked to Trey about this, Trey Pippin. And I've talked to other people too. And I've always been very interested in hearing what male spousal caregivers feel about placing your partner in care. And I've been very reluctant to even talk about it. I get my back up, I get defensive. I've had a few people just casually say, oh yeah, you should put her in a home in care. And I get defensive. Like, I don't want to hear that. So, but I'm starting to see increased mobility issues with Heather. I think I mentioned she rolled out of bed twice a couple of weeks ago. I got new railings to keep her in. And then, trying to get her up off the floor is, wow, I had no idea it would be a problem. This is new to me. I had no idea. I'm surprised by it. Last night I walked Penny, and I came home and I looked around for Heather. She was nowhere to be seen. So I went upstairs, where we don't go anymore. We don't live there anymore. And she was at the top of the stairs on the floor, with one leg down one step. I thought, oh, she's either fallen or she got scared up there and thought she would come down on her bum. But she was crying. I mean, she cried for 10 minutes. She was inconsolable. So I calmed her down, and eventually we went downstairs. But I thought, oh, this is not something that I had on my radar. I didn't know it would creep up on us so rapidly. I mean, it's just staggering how fast this stuff is happening. So I think that's going to be the deciding factor. If I have to put her in a care facility, I think it's going to be a mobility thing for safety reasons. I mean, I'm pretty strong. I can pick her up, but there are limits, and God knows I wouldn't want her to break a bone. So I had thought, well, maybe I should buy a Hoya lift, to lift her in and out of bed. And that's a possibility. That's not off the table. But I think that if that day comes where I feel she needs to go into a home, it's going to be a mobility thing. That'll be the deciding factor. So here in Nova Scotia, we have a waiting list through Continuing Care, the organization that subsidizes me hiring a caregiver. And what you do is you get your person put on a list. And I tend to push the information out of my mind because it's upsetting to me. But what I seem to recall is that you are put on a list, and you could get a call anywhere from 6 months to a year later to say, okay, you've been accepted into a care facility. It's always within 100 kilometers of your home. I could make a case to have something closer because I will obviously be involved on a daily basis, feeding Heather and everything. So there's a waiting period, and I'm thinking in 6 months' time or a year's time, this is going to be a whole different ball game here. This is going to be a challenge. So I think I will get her on a list, and if they call in 6 months and I feel like she doesn't need to be in a facility, I just say, put me back, bump me off the list, or bump me down on the list. And I think you get to do that 3 times. And after the 3rd time, I don't know what happens. Something happens. So I think I'll get the wheels in motion anyways. And then, it's there if we need it. because the speed of Heather's decline and regression is just, it's just staggering. So I don't know where we'll be in 6 months or a year, but it won't be a pretty sight. There'll be problems. I'm sure of it. So, and there's a doctor's appointment coming up in, I think, 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So people were wondering about that. So I'm going to get some more Heather content on here in my next video, but I'm going to push this one out because I haven't posted anything for a few days, and it's talking head stuff. But there were points here I really wanted to share with you all. I think they're important and they may be interesting to you. So that's where we are today, and you can see the weather in Halifax is beautiful. I'm sitting in the backyard, you know, enjoying the warm air, and the birds are singing and the dogs are barking. And even my neighbor has a little pond with a babbling brook. So it's idyllic here. Risa will be here for another hour and a half. So I think I'll get busy on my van, and I'll push this video out first so that you have an update. So look, again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the support and comments and understanding from you. You people are a beautiful bunch of people. 99.9% of the comments are supportive, and I'm just blown away by it. It really, it really lifts my spirits. So I guess that's it. Stay strong. You're not alone. YANA, and a fist pump. Boom.